His name, and I hope I don't mess this up, his name is George Paraskevakos. He is executive director of the International Probiotics Association. George, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, Perry.
How are you?
Really good. I hope you are well also. I'm fine. Thank you.
Yes, I'm well. So listen, there's some questions that I have. Microbes, viruses, bacteria, they all seem like buzzwords these days. What is a microbe exactly, and what are the three most popular microbes?
So microbes, bacteria, fungi, these are very, very, could be daunting words for the normal consumer.
Yes.
So I'll go down the list and explain a little bit of the difference and try to, make it understandable to your listenership. A bacteria is a one-cell entity. Bacteria is everywhere. It's on us. It's in us. It's around us. If you think about bacteria, they can make copies of themselves. Mm-hmm. Without bacteria, we wouldn't have yogurt, cheese, or wine.
Right.
Then you have fungi. Fungi are a little bit more, I would say, flexible. They have multiple cells, and they can start and grow pretty quickly. So fungi are things like, what you would connect to a yeast infection or bathroom mold or mushrooms. Bread and beer wouldn't exist without the fungi.
Because of
you
yeast.
have the
Because of
yeast. Yes,
right.
Exactly. And then you have viruses. Viruses has become a buzzword with this COVID-19 and the pandemic. And, viruses are, I wouldn't say they wouldn't have a cell. They need another cell to survive and grow. So a virus, like COVID-19, would enter a human's body and basically hijack your own cells to be able to multiply and to grow. These are daunting words, and we've been almost brought up to fear bacteria, to fear viruses and fungi. They're not all bad. There are bad ones out there, but they're not all bad. I mean, from a perspective, bacteria, you only have 1% of all the bacteria that could be bad for us. The rest are all good. We need it for our health.
Wow.
It's the same with viruses. There are bad viruses, but there are viruses that also help our health. There's viruses that will help.
So why do we need them for our health? Why do we what impact do these viruses have on our health?
Some viruses will help us kill antibiotic-resistant bacteria. So think about it. If our bacteria started to resist antibiotics, we'd be in a whole lot of trouble, right?
But that's a fear. But that is a fear that eventually that's going to happen, correct?
Exactly, and that's what they're talking about. That the overusage of antibiotics is becoming to the point where we're building resistant genes to it. Antibiotics has been tied to it helps us fight infections, but at the same time, antibiotics also does harm to our body in that it makes some of the good bacteria in our GI or in our intestinal tract disappear, go away, not come back. And we need these. We need bacteria. We need all these things. They're part of the microbial equation that us as humans need to be exposed to so we can understand and our immune systems can help build defense systems against for times like these when it comes to the pandemic.
Wow.
So I understand this whole situation about distancing and cleanliness and, staying away from each other. We need to abide by the guidelines of the authorities, but we need to also be smart about it.
All right. So are we living too clean these days? I mean, because when I was introducing you, there were times where people were filthy. They wouldn't bathe. for months on end. There was no disinfectant. We didn't have any antibiotics. People didn't, it was just into the 19th century where they saw that it was important at the turn of the century that it was important to wash your hands before you were in surgery. So, how does this, I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of germaphobes after this, and we've already, people do suffer with germophobia, and I can imagine with COVID-19, this is very stressful for some people who are obsessed, are OCD when it comes to cleanliness. So tell me, are we living too clean?
There's some truth. So, Ricard, you touched on so many points. I want to talk
Go
about.
ahead.
Turn of the century, 1900s. One of the first papers that was published from a scientific perspective is from a researcher in the area, which noticed, Bulgarian peasants were outliving royalty. The royalty, which was in these clean environments, wasn't living as long as these peasants. And after the scientist did some research, he found that they were consuming a lot of yogurts, a lot of cheeses, a lot of fermented foods. So types of foods that had all these microbes in them, which were helping them build, stronger immune systems. They were understanding what was coming at them. Fast forward, I'll date myself. I remember growing up as a kid, I was eating dirt in my backyard, and that was okay. You were out in the backyard in the sandbox, or you're always outside. You're always exchanging. What does that translate to? You're exchanging different types of microbes, and that's helping us as humans, our bodies, understand the different bacteria that we are, because we are born with a certain type of bacteria. We are born, our depending on how we arrive in the world, if it's natural childbirth or C-section, that'll help evolve our intestinal tract and all the different bacteria that actually evolves inside our intestinal tract, which is very, very specific to all of us.
Wow.
We all have a specific microbiome, as we call it, which is very, very specific to us, like our fingerprint. So that evolves as we grow. That evolves as what we expose to it, what we eat, what we feed. So these types of things are what's important for us to create a good immune system. So today what's happening is this germophobic situation of living in a bubble practically and staying away from people is robbing our bodies, our intestine, our immune systems of good bacteria. It's robbing us from understanding, some of the situations that we'll have to face when we have different types of bacteria or fungus come at us.
How did you get involved in this kind of research and work? What happened?
It's a bit of a personal story. My dad had intestinal cancers back in 2001 and 2003, and within 18 months. And I just got consumed by finding out more about, the intestinal tract, and then finding out about prevention. And I started picking up different scientific articles and research, and I just evolved into this industry, and I've been in it since 15 years now.
Wow. We're talking to George Paraskevakos. He is the executive director of International Probiotics Association. Let's talk about some of the good things that we can eat that can help with our immune systems, and, and not be so obsessed with this idea of cleanliness and disinfectant, because I can imagine that there are some, I worry about our young children, toddlers, and that sort of thing. They can't even get dirty anymore without their parents freaking out. They can't, back in the day in the South, a lot of people used to eat that red clay. Their bodies actually craved it. And I know it was a Southern tradition or, event. Everybody didn't do that. But that red clay in the South, people they lived by it. And I just wonder how the impact it might have had on them as they were growing up. George Paraskevakos, he's executive director of the International Probiotics Association, and he says, will all this clean living and social distancing cause future problems for our health? He says, while we sterilize everything to protect ourselves from the virus, at the same time, by not exposing ourselves to germs, we are weakening our body's own natural defenses to everyday threats. Let's go to Susan. Susan, go right ahead. You're on with George Paraskevakos.
Because it's at a doctor's appointment, and it's like, okay, yeah.
Susan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go right ahead.
Yeah, you know what? I've been hearing about oil of oregano, and I've also taken it to kill viruses, with the intent of avoiding getting corona or COVID. So I wanted to know what was your opinion about that? And is there anything else that would kill a virus?
And what did you say the other virus? I would say that I'm sure that there might be some viruses, but I don't know if there is any medical data that says any of these spices would kill coronavirus. Go ahead, George. Go right ahead. You can respond.
That was a spice that was mentioned. I didn't
understand
really hear
that. Yeah, but have you heard about spices? Are they in probiotics? Or what? I mean, what is inside a probiotic?
So I don't know about spices, but probiotics will help us bolster our immune system, which will in turn help us fight something like the coronavirus.
Okay.
Will help support our immune systems to try and avoid contacting coronavirus. There's ways to actually, and I wanted to allude to that. There was ways to actually help us get more probiotics into our system, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, do that because people are asking: is it safe to take probiotics every day?
Yes. So there's a 3-step system that I like to refer to, and we talk about at the International Probiotics Association. So because of this very, very bubble existence, you need to expose yourself to, more microbes. How do you do that? Well, first off, start, eating fresh foods. Start incorporating, foods that are fermented, like, pickles and kimchi and sauerkraut. Start eating fresh fruit. Start eating more fresh vegetables. Avoid the packaged stuff.
And processed.
All these foods and processed stuff. All these foods that I mentioned all have healthy amounts of good bacteria. So what you're doing is you're putting good bacteria into your system. That's one. 2, try and get a little bit of fresh air. Don't completely be stuck inside all the time. Open your windows, maybe go for a walk. Of course, wear your mask. Be careful of not getting too close, but actually change the air in the house. Bring in new kind of bacteria. That's what that would do if you would open your air or go outside. You're going to make contact with, maybe some soil or other things, and this will help stimulate all the good guys that you already have. It'll just help bolster them. And then you supplement with a probiotic. It's very safe. Probiotics are safe to take daily. Probiotics have been the ones that are commercialized and in the market are regulated from the FDA. So it's like adding to your system more good guys that you might not get.
All right, George, we're out of time. I'm very sorry, but you have been absolutely wonderful. Thank you for sharing this information. Where can we learn more about the science behind probiotics?
So on our website, internationalprobiotics.org.
All right.
Or we also have a Facebook page, the International Probiotics Association that has a Facebook page as well. And you can download a lot of good materials in regards to the types of probiotics you can find in the market, what you should look for on labels. So either our website or on our Facebook page, they're both connected.
George Paraskevakos, Executive Director, International Probiotics Association. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Perry, for having me.
Sure.
Have a great day.
You too.